Hi, Nora.
Hi, Hamza.
How are you?
I'm okay.
How have you been lately?
Good.
Good.
Excited about school and just receiving new kids.
Okay.
I think that's the life of a teacher.
All right. Welcome back to episode 6 of School of Thought. Today we are going to delve into the tough decision between day school
and
or boarding school. Yeah. As children have been going back to school the past few weeks, parents are faced with a dilemma. Where should I take my child? Should I take them to boarding school? Should I take them to day school? So we want to delve into some of the factors that each party considers in making that choice. Yeah, we have the parent, we have the child, if they are given the opportunity
to choose.
Yeah, to choose. And even the schools, because it's also a choice for a school
to be day or boarding.
To be day or boarding. Yeah. So we've talked about this in the previous episodes, and let's delve into it. Yeah. We'll start with the children. Why do you think a child, given the choice, would choose a day school over a boarding school?
Okay, it's funny you mentioned that. It's actually been a few weeks into school.
Yeah.
And we've had, where I work, many parents come in the middle of the term, not middle of the term, middle of the month of Feb, returning their children or opting for day, maybe over boarding, or actually taking them to boarding.
Them away, yes, to boarding.
Yeah. But the returning today has been the biggest number. And I think in that case, it's usually the child's expectation not being met. You know, when I was in P3, that year had such a big wave of children. My year.
Your friends?
Yeah, my year had so many children moving from the day school into a famous boarding school.
Yeah.
And I remember feeling left out. I felt like, why isn't my mom choosing this for me? Why isn't she allowing me to go to boarding? I was so ready. And I had my 10 points reasons. One, of course, was that I was going to be with my friends. And the thought of boarding meant that I will be with them in the evening, in the morning, at night. We'll be playing, jazzing, having fun without, non-stop.
The friendship would not end.
Non-stop. You don't have to go home at 4 and then wait for the next day.
Yeah.
You don't have to go home over the weekend and wait for Monday. So that was one major factor.
One of the major factors.
Yeah. The other thing I thought I really wanted was Grab. People would explain
I think that's a very big motivator, especially for the young ones.
Grab. We all know what Grab is, though. Okay, the things they pack. In our many years ago, it was called Grab. Yes. I don't know what it's called now. But the idea that you could have all the biscuits you can eat at one go.
The conflicts.
They are all your responsibility. They are there. Everything gin, nuts, milk, Nido, Splash. Look at people and I'd be like, you're taking the whole supermarket. Yes. The whole supermarket, if it was in my hands. A little did I know.
The enjoyment that you would have.
That real life means that you have to manage as though you're in a day school or as though you would in any other situation.
Yes.
I think at that point I thought I'd eat. You drink some milk, drink some Splash, eat a daddy, and open the biscuits and just a variety. The other thing that I really wanted to go to boarding school to do, that I thought was going to be really fun, was, how do I put it? Besides the Grab, the pocket money. You know, that you now decide. It's in your hands.
You have a 20K?
And it's yours.
You decide what to do with it.
Yes. Not that I love money per se, but just the idea
of having it.
Now I shall be the one who's responsible. And I remember telling my mom how responsible I'll be. Just give me a chance. Let me show you. You're thinking I'm not ready, but me, I'm ready. Just allow me. Yeah.
Okay. I believe, yes, those are truly most okay for children, yeah? Because
Good things
the
only.
good things, they're only seeing the good side of it.
Yeah.
I would also like to believe that there are also those children who are really academic oriented. Yeah?
Yeah.
And they're thinking, I need more time in class. I need to go for prep. There will be morning classes. There will be, I will study on the weekend.
That child. And they're there. Truly.
They're truly
They're
there,
like
yes.
outliers on the spectrum, but they are there.
They're there, yes. So they're looking forward to the being engrossed in learning without the distractions of going home. So, yeah,
But you waste time on that commute
on the road, yeah,
from town to home.
Yes. You've mostly spoken about motivation to go to boarding. Yeah. Let me give the other perspective. Why children would rather go to a day school. I think one would be to have time. I think it's the complete opposite. Yeah. To have more time with mommy and daddy at home. Not to have to shoulder the burden of the grab.
Managing yourself.
Yes, of managing the food. You might be able to manage yourself, but now you have the burden of also managing the resources of Splash and what. Yeah, of course it happens at home as well, but it's not entirely on you. You know, probably there's
when it gets finished, you say, "Mommy." She even sees it. You don't have to first start explaining, calling, and asking for permission for their phone.
School, yes, you have to first.
Can I call?
I remember that time when we had to call boxes.
Your point goes, "Kilingo," it comes back. Kilingo, it comes back.
So you can't call.
Then you call and they don't answer.
Yes. Or they call back
and your turn is over.
Away. Now they call you back and you have to run back to the food. Yeah, I don't have Splash. So anyway, all that, yeah? To avoid all that. And then also access to having time, I would say, off school, which is the weekend.
Yeah,
you know that now I know I have the weekend. On the weekend, maybe I have some other activities. I can go for swimming. I can visit uncle. I can visit auntie. And then, refresh for the new week. Yeah. Home is a familiar place. So there is the need to want to be there. Yeah. Every so often. So if I can be there every day and I sleep in my bed and I am with my parents,
I just want to interject you there because that is me. Here, I don't know what I would have done if I'd gone to boarding. I thank God.
I think thinking about it, it's good.
Thank God my mom didn't allow because I love familiar places. I went to the same primary school, P1 to P7, the same secondary school, S1 to S6. The thought of moving halfway through the 6 years, okay, not halfway, in S5, I'm like, oh Jesus, I pray that the school takes me back because getting used to a new place for me is, I'm those people. Same bathroom in the same mall. Like, familiar space. I've been to this place, that's where I'll go. So I don't know what I thought when I wanted boarding, but that truly was me. Is me.
So yes, I think those are some of the motivations that are behind the decision for children to take either of the options. Yeah.
What about me who just wants to watch TV and have access to it in my free time?
And there's also that. Yeah. Maybe the boarding school
internet,
does
my
not
phone.
allow hair.
Yes.
They cut hair. But the day school allows me to keep my hair. For the girls. Or yes, there's TV. Yeah.
Internet,
the boarding school there is
phone.
PS5, you have access to all those things.
Entertainment.
Besides the education, besides the school. Then let's move on to the parents. Why do you think? Why would you?
As a parent.
As a parent.
It would be like the toughest decision. If I had to make it like now, it really, really would be the hardest decision. And I really think parents struggle,
It must be a tough
decision. Be hard. This is your baby.
take to boarding.
Then you leave them there. I see parents who are stressed about the child is crying, when I leave them at school, but I'm going to come back at 4. And they don't want to go, and they say maybe
Maybe
he's
not
young.
even at 2.
Yes, me,
I'm
yeah.
going to see them
At 2, but even me, I can't leave. Like, my child is not happy. Them, So imagine boarding 3 months away. I, however, understand that situations like work, if I have to work up country, for example, somewhere, I won't name names, but I'd still like my child to have access to good education.
Yes.
Yeah.
That may not be
where I'm going, or I still want them to be at home, away from work could be out of the country. I still want them to be at home in this country.
Yes.
Most parents would then choose boarding because that's a safe space. They're sure their children will be looked after. They'll be in school. There's a group of people that you've given that responsibility and they want it.
Yes.
Yeah, they actually want it. You're not forcing your child on maybe some relative somewhere, or you're not leaving them with a maid who you're not certain will do as they should.
Yeah.
So the safe place, the wise decision then would be to put them in a boarding school, because then there's VD. After a certain time, I can access them. And
actually, certain schools that even allow parents to come in every weekend.
Yes, I can see them every weekend. Maybe when I come from up country, every weekend I pass by school, I see them.
Yeah.
So it's for stability, really, because I weigh the option of moving with my child maybe all the time, commuting with them, even if I don't work out of the country or far away, just working in town or working across town and living somewhere farther than that means that putting your child in the car every morning to school would require them to wake up maybe by 4 so that you're out of the house by 5. Then by the time you get back in the traffic, it's 10. That's an unfair life for a child. So that calls for a wise decision. And sometimes boarding is it. The other thing that would have me choose boarding is seriousness. Yeah. That
regimental, yes.
Yeah, regimental kind of, like there's order. At this time, you wake up. At this time, you're having breakfast, prep. Yeah. There's that order. And as much as parents should be able to, I wouldn't be able to, because there's work, there's my own schedule. I may not be there to supervise and facilitate all the things that need to be done.
But also probably your work is very dynamic.
Yes.
Anything can happen.
Anything can happen.
Yeah.
So school does it, and does it excellently.
Yeah.
Yeah. For me, those would be the choices.
Those would be the reasons.
Sorry, the reasons.
The reasons.
That I would choose.
Yes. I think in line with the regimental, one of the decisions that some parents, one of the factors that parents consider is behavior. Usually I've had some parents say that the school will help with my child's discipline. Fine-tune them, put them in line. I think because in a way, if you remember school, boarding school is equals to suffering. In a way. That's why I said in a way. Because, yes, you are that regimental kind of routine.
If you don't want, you have to.
If you don't want it, you have to.
There are no choices.
It kind of puts you in line, yeah? So there's that consideration that if my child goes to a boarding school, their mindset will change, and they are lazy. They'll have to pick up to survive in the school. Yes.
Know why it's equal to suffering if you're on the other side of the law.
Yes.
Yeah. So if your child is refusing to fit in line, of course, when they go to boarding school, they're going to be on the other side of the expected, and it will definitely equal to suffering in one way or the other. Yeah, so you have to come into line.
Yes.
Makes sense.
Like you mentioned, boarding school helps to avoid the commute that children have to go through. Yeah,
The
in
van.
the mornings, the van. Yeah, that classroom is right there. I'm in dorm, and class is right there. I wake up and I
I'm
go
in
to
class.
and then everything is in the same space. The need for a good school or a preferred school, not necessarily
Good.
that others are not as good, but preferred, that I would prefer my child to be in school X. But now we are moving to location Y. But I really want them to be in that school. So there is a consideration that if they have boarding, then I transfer them to
The boarding
section. And there's also the belief that, like we said, about that child who loves academics, I believe that belief is also there in the parents. That when they are in boarding school, they have more time with their teachers, that teachers are serious, they are going to pass. So
boarding equals grades.
Equals good grades.
That's why there's such a shift in P5, P6, P7.
Yes, upper. Yes, as soon as a child hits middle school and upper, all the way to Form 6, it is preferred for most parents now, that
they're in
boarding, more time with their teachers, more time in the books.
More seriousness, more order, less TV, less time wastage, commute.
You don't have 2 days off. You probably have 1 day off over the weekend.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I also have just thought of something. That belief that school shall teach my child certain traits or certain abilities, give them responsibility, teach them how to wash clothes, to be neat, to be tidy, to organize themselves, to make their bed, which, well, they can do at home, but
they can do at home.
School shall enforce.
Though I feel like for some traits in our children, it shouldn't be consequential learning that if I don't do this, there is a punishment. It should be something that is built in them for them to want to do it.
To desire to do it. Because it's good for them anyway.
It's good for them, yes.
Yeah.
And I believe some of those lessons are best taught by our parents.
Charity begins at home.
Yes. Now, of course, now we have had the parents who choose boarding, but there are those who are a definite day school parent. And like we said, for the children, opposites really. That this parent wants more time with their child. They want to be the first-hand contributor to their behavior, to their style of walking, to what they have learned in terms of chores, what they eat. They want to influence most of everything around their child. So then that means that they are going to opt to do a little extra, because that means that I'm going to have to commute, with my child. I am going to have to find means for them to go to school. I am going to wake up with them in the morning and prepare them.
Might be available to teach them how to wash their clothes, to make their beds.
I am going to be the first teacher.
Demand perfection where I need it.
Yes. Sure. And also the idea of rest. I want my child to rest. Yes. Over the weekend, I'm going to be available to take them for other activities. I'm going to involve them in things that are beyond
just the classroom.
School, just the classroom. I think there's also a need for to be that first teacher, I think.
Yes. Basically. Also the fear of the unknown. No? I've been pondering on these questions when we first shared them. I asked myself, but why? Really, really, why? What are you afraid of? What are you so sure will happen? I just don't know. I don't know what life will be like if I send my child to boarding in P1, for example. I can't wrap my head around it, so I'd rather not do it. But there's also the unknown. But there's also fear of things that we've heard or have been said about boarding schools and what happens there and what could happen to your child or what they could learn from their habits, things like that. The idea that a school could have 500 children, 200 even. Yeah, it's still a big number.
Yes, it is.
In comparison to year 1, year 2, year 3, year 4. So will they really, how will they see that my one child?
How impactful will the school be
on my child, one child?
That one child, yes.
In midst of 500. 1,200. Yeah. 5, real figures, 5,000.
Yes.
So some parents just opt to be the one.
To be the one, yes. That I will handle, yes. Yeah. I will make it happen. And
we'll get through. And both ways are tough.
Both ways
no
are
question, we'll
tough.
get there.
Yes. We haven't talked about location. Yeah. There is a trend, like I said, if you don't really have a preferred school,
your neighbor
has a school.
Your neighborhood.
Right. Yeah. You take them there. Or there is a school in the neighborhood that is as good as maybe a school that you've heard about elsewhere. So they
can walk there.
The child can walk home and
there's actually no commute. There's no time wastage.
Yeah. And maybe the van service of that school is actually quite favorable. Yeah. They do not come too early. They don't come back too late.
Yeah.
They're just there in between. So it's very comfortable.
Choose it. No brainer.
Yes.
Yeah.
Now we move on to the teachers.
Yeah.
Teachers is teachers and schools.
School and administration.
Administrations.
Okay.
Why would a school proprietor opt for boarding? Why do you think?
Why some schools just suddenly add boarding? They add boarding. Because of demand.
Yes.
Yeah. Your children are just fleeing left, right, center, boarding. You're like, no just way. Beds.
Yes.
Just a room. Yeah.
I can create that.
Wonderful. Now stay. So really the demand is high.
The demand is truly
high.
Yes.
I can't even begin to imagine what it feels like to know that if I just put a structure here and put beds, for some parents it's not even that serious. Just tell them they can sleep somewhere.
And you
have a boarding section. You will have you'll win their favor, we'll stay here. So the demand is high. Yes, they also believe that more time with the children equals better grades,
yes.
Equals more understanding. How true that is, I don't know.
It's debatable, yes.
It's very debatable. For the teachers, that means more pay.
Because you have extra work.
Extra work. Morning prep, allowance. Night prep, allowance. Saturday, allowance. Sunday, what is it called? Duty. Allowance. So you are engaged more. That means you're paid more. So I'd prefer to work in a boarding school over a day school anytime because I'll get more money. Yeah. What else?
I think the biggest factor, is truly that there is a high demand for it. Yeah. And because as a proprietor, yes, I want to educate the community. I want to have the next generation have a better future. But I also need to make money.
Sure. Yeah.
It's also a business. And if the business makes more sense with a boarding section,
I gotta do it.
Why not?
Yeah.
Yeah. Then brings us today. That yes, and regardless of the demand, regardless of the benefits that are attached to boarding, there are still those proprietors who are purely
day.
Yeah. And I think because those proprietors and those teachers and that group of people believe that we can bring out the best in your child with the time that we have in the day, We can make them pass if that is what you want. They can play the sports if that's what you want. They can do the acting. They can do all the activities.
Somehow can fit into their...
Can fit in between...
How many those hours?
8 and up to 4. Yeah? Yeah. Because we do have international schools that come in at 8.
And actually close at 3.
And by 3, school is done.
Yeah.
Yeah, and those children are also performing well, and they're learning and having a good experience at school.
So it's really choice.
It really is.
They choose to stay a day in spite of the benefits that could be there in terms of business benefits.
Yes.
If they opted for boarding.
All right. Okay. I think
there's some more work.
More work in
a boarding school in regards to monitoring and supervision.
Yes.
Yeah, because these children are essentially, you're doing it now as
you're now
school.
You're a parent too.
Yes, and a teacher.
The number that you have.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're both a parent.
A teacher during the day and a parent after classes. So the demand is higher. And well.
Okay. So
there should be.
Given the choices that have been made, what do you think are the steps that can be taken to enable the children to have a smooth education, a good experience, both in boarding and in day, regardless of the choice? Because sometimes it's not their choice, sometimes it's their choice. But how can we help them to have a good experience?
In everything we've said, I've been hearing expectations from the child. When we choose this is what we expect. When we choose that, that's what we're expecting. So our biggest goal as schools, I'll start there, is to ensure that we meet those expectations as best as possible.
Yeah.
So that even if someone is coming to you as a boarding school, hoping that their child will be safe, first of all, their child will have access to...
They'll be well looked after.
They'll be looked after. They'll have access to that teaching and the learning.
The teaching and the learning, yes.
That they'll actually get those things. If it's about making sure they're not commuting. Okay, so how are we making sure as a school that they're not just avoiding the commute, they're actually benefiting from by choosing you?
Yes.
Yeah. As schools, we can do that by, if it's rest children get when they're in day, make sure the children are resting in boarding school.
In boarding school as well.
They
shouldn't pump.
Yes, just because you have access, it doesn't mean that you'll be teaching up to 11 p.m.
Yes,
Why?
Yes.
Just because you have access, it doesn't mean you'll be teaching on Sunday. Up to... Let the children rest. Let them have some form of balance so that boarding school is not the problem.
Yes.
Yeah? It's actually a solution for a certain group of people and
certain
challenges or certain expectations in their lives that hinder them from having day.
Yes.
It shouldn't be a competition in a way that this is better and this is not.
This is not, yes.
As a parent, you should be able to choose either or.
Because
and still get a good education for your child, a safe space for your child. They should still be learning, But
even regardless of them being in day, you shouldn't just give them too much freedom. That
when you come home, wash
just
my
chill.
socks.
I can't wash my socks.
Yeah.
Yes.
And what is laying a bed?
Yeah. So there should be kind of equality, in the expectations and in actions on both ends.
Yeah.
So if the responsibility is with the parent, they should be doing their due diligence.
Exactly.
To make sure that the child is learning all those things. If the responsibility is on the school, they should be doing the due diligence that the children are actually acquiring all the skills that they would have acquired from home. Because I remember, if in that regard, I remember in high school, the girls used to peel.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, they used to peel
I also went to a school where we used to peel.
Yes. And the boys used to fetch water. We used to, of course, we had in the dormitories, you would clean, you would, you had...
In your space.
There were rotas. It's really basically giving you a feel of what you are missing at home. but
you should be able to do
acquiring the
here.
skills. Yeah.
Yeah, some people are not missing it at home. Yeah, so it should be, there should be a level of engagement at home as well, so that the child is whole.
Yes.
We can't say school or boarding school is where the child will learn X, Y, Z,
and then
at home is where they will not learn. Or at home is the only place they can learn ABC, and school can't deal with that area in children's lives. I also think that as teachers, we are taught to be parents as well, to be counselors, to be present. You know, that yes, I have come to teach
mathematics,
the principles, math, physics, but the child is not okay. So, to whom it may concern, no, the child is now in your care. So you take the step.
You take the steps, the necessary steps.
Yeah, to be their parent. Yeah. And care.
All right. I think that's basically it for this
episode.
For this interaction. The takeaway should be that regardless of where your child is, regardless of who is the main caretaker in the moment, the responsibility is on us as adults. That is the teachers, the parents, the guardians, to be the parents, to be the guiding factor for these children, and ensure that wherever they are acquiring skills, they are getting a good education, we are building children for the future, for the community who are going to uplift our country and our spaces for better.
Yeah, my take home really is that if you're a parent out there and you're struggling or you struggled, you're still wondering, this decision, is it bad? Is it good? Am I a bad parent for wanting to take my child to boarding? Am I a bad parent for wanting my 16-year-old to stay at home? You know, am I being clingy, maybe as a mother, or am I being too tough as a father? Whichever way. Find peace. Yeah. More power to whichever way you choose to do it. If you choose to be a day parent, do it well. If you choose boarding school, do it well. Yeah, it will still deliver the best child.
If decisions are made for the right reasons,
find peace in it. Awesome.
So that's been episode 6. Thank you, Nora.
You're welcome.
And
it's been a pleasure.
Viewers, it's been a pleasure. Till we meet again.
Thank you.